Well, talking about men, and on today's show, I'm Stephanie Stevens, and I
Stephanie, you
have
mean
the
that little
theory.
thing we just had about the pop is in this thing?
No, I didn't put
Well,
that
I
in there,
guess
girl.
so.
I didn't put that in there.
Well,
No, I didn't put that part in there.
I
I
did.
just started the camera without adding that part.
Okay.
But I just, because we've been here talking so naturally. Today's show is about men and love, chasing men and trying to find the right man here on the Stephanie Stevens Show. Here I am again with my good friend, Miss Sherry Pritchard. And we have the best time together, as y'all can see, with sisters in the name of love, honey. And we're going to just have a 22-minute conversation about men, love, finding love, and all the ups and downs of relationships, what we all did to try to find the perfect relationship. I'm Stephanie Stevens, as I said, and this is my good friend, Miss Sherry Pritchard. Now, Sherry, we're what do you call it? We're older now, and at our age, they probably call us, the young boys call us cougars. What does that mean?
I hate that.
I hate that
Because
too.
I didn't earn that. Okay, and also, them young men, I mean, at my age, you tell me. I have to say, they are attracted to the older women.
That's
okay?
because we're experienced.
Yes. And for me, I say, you got to go have kids, you got to go get married, you got to go experience life, and the part that they say, oh no, I don't want kids, I don't care, I want you. Then I say, yeah, but I'm going to get old and shrivel up and die, a lot quicker than you. And they say, oh, I don't care, I'll look after you. And then finally, the real truth, now don't you imagine, you go with a younger guy. Your body's getting older. His isn't. I don't give a shit what he said. Oh, am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
I don't care what he says. The woman, I would feel, insecure, as I was growing old and he wasn't. So I'm not prejudiced of age, but I mean of age, right? But generation has a lot to, I like men from my generation. Don't you like people your age?
I'm gonna be honest. Back in the days, I used to like younger men, but I now find that I'm older now. I really don't even want a man. And so if I was to
How long
find
did
one
it take
today,
you to feel that way? And has this been an ongoing thing for you to be independent enough to feel, I don't need a man? Is it you don't want a man because you just don't want one right now, or that you don't need one to complete you and you're good?
No, I just think that I'm not relationship material. I find that I'm too independent and too driven for my career.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't jeopardize people's lives for the sake of just not feeling lonely or needing a quick fix in a relationship.
Yes.
And I'm not really about that. I'm sort of, if I'm going to be in the relationship, I'm all in.
That's right, yeah.
Or I'm all out.
Yeah.
And at this stage in my life, I think because I'm career orientated, and I think also I really want to make sure that my old age is in place. And my retirement is in place, and I don't think at this time I'm willing to just be investing in a long-term relationship with someone who's had several past relationships, whether they're good or bad, because we're too old to be dealing with foolishness.
Yeah, we've only got a few years left. My relationships are long, right? They're long, right? So I mean, on one hand, I hear what you're saying. I've lived alone for many years at a time, and I thought, God, I don't want somebody to have to, I like my space. I like my independence. I don't want someone to have to get to know me and all that, right? And I did that for different spurts in my life.
And there's a problem with us as older people. We're settled in our ways. So to really change in a dramatic way of adapting to having someone else in your life is very hard. I mean, mentally you can adapt, but probably physically and your surroundings, the way you live, the way you have things placed, the things
you need
like.
to make room for a whole other person.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my problem. Guy walks across. What the hell are you doing?
Don't touch
my
that.
house.
Don't touch that. Don't do that. Don't
no,
move
no,
that.
no, no.
Mm-hmm. Now, but and a lot of times people are in relationships to where there's not really a give and take. It's just that there's a real understanding of don't you do this and I won't do that because I don't want to upset you, or I want you to continue keeping whatever our lifestyle is, or our way, everything intact.
Yeah.
So one person is always the submissive and one's always the aggressive. It's very hard to find.
Well, Stephanie, I'll be honest with you. That with mental illness and my problems throughout my life, I've really had a hard time with relationships because I never learned intimacy. I never learned, by the time I left home, I just wanted to, just say one word about me. I had my fists up. I was pretty, I guess you could say sick. I was needy. They used to say, oh, your childhood's going to get you when you're older. But I, well, really, I'm out of the house now. But the first time it got me was in my first relationship, my first real love. And it broke, well, he cheated on me. And see, I took it as, it was, what's wrong with me? How could you do that to me? I mean, my ego and my whole self-image was this relationship and this new love. And really, I'll be honest, at that age, I lived on my own already, and I was 17. I was in a high-rise building, and I just couldn't live. So I went and got some big bottle of booze, but I didn't feel nothing from it. And miracle, climbed over my balcony on the 17th floor. Like, I really wanted to let go, but I looked down. No, this ain't happening. But then I thought, wow, I'm here now. It's February. I'm in my nightgown. So I'm like, well, might as well hang off and just, maybe, hopefully someone will see me and know I'm in pain, right? But, and then later, the girl and I got together and made friends and realized he was a schmuck. So we got together, and from that I learned.
Do you think most men are do you think most men are just after one thing and one thing only?
No.
I mean, do you think men really want children? Do you think they really want a long-term relationship?
I think when we're young, we really don't know what we want. Okay. Some of the time. Right? And we have to experiment. But honestly, yes, I do. I think there's a lot of men who want love. And as far as kids go, I don't have kids, So I don't understand that. I mean, I understand it, but I mean, when people have kids, they have a discipline that they get raising kids. And for me, I never had that discipline, so I wouldn't say I've been some of the time wild, but it just more kind of immature in some ways. I didn't have to face a lot of responsibilities that a lot of folks face.
So it's for me. Transitioning and going through what I'm going through, and in relationships, I've always never really let that kind of bother me in my relationships, because most of my relationships have been just gay relationships, so it's just straight up. We understand it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, hooking up What do you think about hooking up? I mean, everybody just hooks up today. Nobody
You mean
gets
like the
married.
one-night
Nobody
stand
goes to
deal?
church.
I
There's
did
no.
that in my 20s and 30s. You know what I think? I did all that when I was young. Okay? I mean, you know, I was just as bad as they were. Like, oh, you know, it was a rock and roll world, right? You know, they were cute.
Get it?
Right? And, you know, it was like, but actually traveling with bands, you know, we got to really know each other. And, you know, pain and loneliness and anger and frustration and just as people, right? So the glam, you know, went away and I saw them as people. And ever since then, I like men. You know, I do. I think that men, you know, there's a lot of men that have their problems, but there's a lot of women that have theirs. And I think at our age, you know, we're all, well, I'm almost ready for a relationship. As far as my mother's concerned, you're not ready. By the time she'd think I was ever in a relationship, I'd be 98.
No.
She thinks, forget it. You don't. You know, you need to grow. My whole life, you need to grow. Stay away from relationships. God.
Do you think sex has a role, a real valuable role in a relationship?
I think sex is the side effect of what two people have. Okay, I don't think it's the most valuable. It's great, okay, but I certainly have had sex with, and then I've made love. Making love is better because you're connecting with a person. It's passionate. There's love there. You certainly know the difference between that and a one-night stand. One-night stands, the next day I kind of felt empty, you know, as a lot of people do.
It's like it just doesn't mean anything.
No.
I mean, even though it felt good, and
At the moment.
it was just for what it was.
And then there's the awkwardness of
get out of my apartment.
Yeah. Or he's leaving.
He's leaving, and here I am again, repeating the same cycle in about 20 minutes. After I smoke a cigarette and have a drink, I start going, oh my God, I got to go back on that Craigslist again. Or whatever. Ashley Madison or whatever, Tinder, Grindr,
I've tried my
all
first
those other
dating
ones.
site.
Yeah? How did that go?
Well, I met this guy and geez, we went for coffee and I got all these texts from some girl from somewhere telling me, I'm his girlfriend, who are you? That was the first guy I ever met, man. I sent him money. I said, well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. No. You know, thanks. He certainly gave me the heads up.
Did you hook up the first time after the coffee? Did you just hook up?
Well, we hooked up, and then when I heard all that, I said, look, buddy, here, you know, here you say in your thing you're honest, and you're looking for honesty. Well, I think they all say that.
Oh, they all say that. And knowing, you know what, the worst thing for me is if you go with somebody and you like them, you put in the ad exactly what you're looking for, and always the opposite shows up.
Yeah.
They always give you those lines that say, oh yeah, baby, I can do this, and baby, I can do that. They can't do anything. I've had so many guys tell me they can screw all night long. 10 minutes maximum, if that. And they're finished and sleep. Oh, I
could introduce you to somebody who would give me a break. I mean, I don't want to deal with it ever again. Okay, I know the guy's name.
and it's just the weirdest thing. How do you feel when you anticipate, okay, I've let my guard down, I'm gonna have a few drinks, I'm gonna maybe do a hookup, I'm gonna go meet him at a coffee shop, and if it works out, I'm gonna do just a little something to make me feel good, or just to be in the comforts of a man, and whatever happens. And how do you feel when it's just bad sex? I mean, the connection is good, but when you get home, the sex is awful.
Well, to be honest,
I'm sure we've all been through that.
Oh, well, yeah.
I've been through some apples in my time, and you know, I went through quite a few rotten ones most of the time.
You know, well, for me, I just kind of hold my breath, get through it. sort of be as nice as I can and say goodbye and then never, isn't that awful? But it's the I mean, if you're going to look for instant gratification, I think we need to have chemistry.
Yeah,
And it's just like, do you find that you've ever met anybody that you felt actual chemistry for?
I've met a few guys that, I'm gonna be honest, I had some good relationships, but it was always about me pursuing my career that probably got in the way of me really letting go of how I felt about them, even though they knew I loved them. That wall was always up because I wanted to be successful. And I think even though I was getting successful and I was getting certain things, little nibbles here and there, opportunities, and things were moving along, I just found that I didn't invest in the relationship. I just thought that it would always just be there without me having to
work at it. Yeah, I hear you. Once you have sex, okay, now everything you do what I say, or one person, like you said, takes the, dominance.
Yeah. Everything's okay after you had sex. Okay, I can just go back to my career now in Los Angeles, even though you live in Toronto.
And too, I mean, what goes around comes around. I think too. If I'm in the mind state of, like, I'm not in that mind state anymore because I'm older, right? And I just am not. Even to date for me, right? It's like I have to, it's work to even go on a date.
How do you feel about the young boys chasing the older women now? I mean, whether it's either for
it's flattering. I'll be honest, it's very flattering, and they are, But I'm common sense. Women should know they gotta have kids, or they gotta have, get married, and you ask them right off the bat before anything really, do you want to get married and have kids someday, before they can really think about it. So you'll get the right answer, and a lot of times they say yes when you're first meeting them as friends. So then
well, I'm gonna be honest. I've coming from the gay community and the trans community. A lot of the girls, they just hook up with the cute boys because it's like you say, the instant gratification. But I never really thought women were hoochie mamas until I started reading a lot of the ads on the hookup sites. And women are worse than men. Oh my God!
Oh, you see, it's funny.
And now, today, women just say exactly what they want.
No, and I can't even hardly say boo. Okay, I mean, unless I really know the dude, and it's fun. That's the thing too. When sex is fun. And you're having fun with the person, and there's laughter even, okay, and like I've been married a couple times, and I know what it's like to be married in a relationship that's gone dead.
There's a lot of those.
Worse than that, and people start to take each other for granted, and then it fades, right? Like you said, it's a lot of work. You gotta listen to the other person. You gotta hear what they want and what they need, and take, and I'm a naturally, come from the home I came from, I naturally am selfish. Okay, I really am. It's hard for me but I try. No, seriously. But, I used to be selfish. I used to just think about my needs. I used to not have any respect for men because of where I grew up. But then I realized that they weren't those men. And I learned that there are loving men out there. And actually, they're not so hard to find. They're, in the distance, they sit back. They don't need, the attention, I talk to men and where they don't, they're looking at not my face or skin, they're talking to me.
Well, because most men are talking to our tits or to, let's hurry up and get to the house so we can get in the bed.